The 30th of September, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua with Rashi. Okay, let's see. You. Let's try this. Step. So you need to 8. So
Whoops. There it goes. Okay, good to see you again, Lou.
yeah, same here.
Hey.
Okay, here he comes.
Okay, very good.
Okay. Let's go.
Can you hear me, Rabbi?
Oh, Hashem, how are you?
Baruch Hashem, I can hear you too.
Yep.
It's I don't know what, something with Zoom or my computer, whatever. It takes a long time to connect. But anyway, we up to Posset Gimel. Okay, Mayor, we're up to.
Okay, hold on. Gimel. Oh.
Posset you should know. You should be familiar with.
Right. Kishem Hashem Ekra, Avu Godel Lelokenu. Okay, so when I call the name of Hashem, Avu would give him great praise.
Describe
Oh,
greatness
ascribe.
to our God. Let me see.
Ah,
Rated it. Haazinu.
Avu. Okay, very good.
Let's see the Rashi here.
Do the Rashi, which is Kishem. Okay. So Kishem Hashem Ekra. Hare ki mishamesh b'lashon ka'asher. Okay, so I guess the word ki is used as the word when.
Right. Here it's used in the sense of when.
Okay. Okay. Kimo shetavo.
That's the
Oh,
key
right,
word
key.
here.
It's from a shmot. Oh, okay.
There's various places it says
Oh,
kisavol
okay.
haaretz. Okay? That means the same there. It means when. Doesn't mean if you come to the land. It means when
you come. Okay. Kishe ekra as kir. So when I call out and I mention, Shem Hashem, the name of Hashem.
Right.
Okay, that's another thing. Okay, then it says, Atem
Atem,
avu godel lelokeinu. You ascribe greatness to Hashem. Oh, uvarchu shemo, and you bless his name.
right.
Okay, so mikan amru, from here, they say,
How, right? Our sages derived.
the sages derive she'onin baruch shem kavod malchuto. Oh, so they respond by using this phrase, blessed is the name of the glory of his kingdom. Okay, achar bracha she b'mikdash, after the blessing in the Beit HaMikdash.
Right. Means instead of answering Amen,
Okay.
yeah. Okay. Yeah, so then instead of the Gemara learns out, you don't answer Amen to a bracha in the Beis Hamikdash whenever they said a bracha, the Kohanim or whatever, but rather they would answer Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuso Le'olam Voed. It's interesting, Rashi doesn't bring down the Olam Voed, but that would answer Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuso.
Uh-huh. Okay. Wow.
I've got a note over here. Not Amen, which is the prescribed response to blessings outside the temple. Mizrahi explains that Amen denotes confirmation of the ordinarily perceived recognition of divine existence and providence by expressing belief in the words of the blessing. Ani ma'amin. Amen means ani ma'amin, I believe. Okay. However, those inside the temple were expected to elevate their perception of his greatness to higher planes. Hence, they were able to speak in terms of kavod malchuso, the glory of his kingdom. Sifrei Ha'av interprets this phrase as relating to answering Amen after a blessing. However, Sigur, who explained it, does not contradict Rashi's explanation here. Okay?
Mhm.
Okay. Fine. Okay, let's have to look at that notes again, but anyway. Let's continue. Okay, Pasuk Dalet. Lou.
Hatzor Tamim Pa'alo Ki Chol De Rachav Mishpat El Kel, I guess. Amuna emuna ve'ein avel tzadik v'yashar hu. Okay, so the rock. Let's see. Eternal.
So, the rock, meaning referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tamim pa'aloi, his actions are perfect.
Tamim, you're translating as perfect.
Tamim, yeah.
Because all his ways are just. A God faithful, without iniquity, righteous, and straight is he. Rashi says, Hatzur tamim ha'alo, af al pi shehu chazak, even though he is strong, kishe mevi pur anus, when he brings punishment, al ovrei ritzono, upon those who transgress his will, lo Vishetef hu mevi. He does not bring it in a torrent. Ki im badin, but rather with justice. Ki tamim ha'alo, because perfect is his work. Kel amunah, l'shalem latzadikim tid kasam, to pay the righteous for their righteousness. La'olam haba, in the world to come. Afal pi sheme'acher es tagmulam, even though that he postpones their payment. Sofo la'amein es divarav. In the end, he makes his word come true. His words come true.
Or I would say he will make good his word. That's how I translate very simple. Okay? His words are true anyway, but he'll make them, I guess you could say, come true. He'll make good his word, meaning that he will fulfill what he said. But I wanted to make a point over here. Yeah, I want to pick on the previous Rashi. It's interesting that Kosh Baruch Hu can control, right? Rashi said before, maybe Puranas all over it's maybe ki in bedin, right? So you can see, I mean, we're talking about, just giving an example, for instance, I don't know how many years ago this was, maybe, what year was it? There's tsunami in Southeast Asia. What year was it?
Oh, that was quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe 10 years ago?
Yeah, it's more than that. Anyway, 250,000 people died, I believe is of it. One shouldn't think for anything that nobody died arbitrarily, right?
Sorry, arbitrary.
Yeah, meaning it wasn't, like, because everybody else, he happened to be there and he got caught up, and that's why he got washed away and he died. Every single person who died of the 250,000, it was personally decreed upon him that he should die. And therefore, even though there's like such a thing like a tsunami, who can control who's going to die, who's not going to die? That's Kosh Baruch Hu he is powerful to the degree that he can pinpoint exactly who yes and who no. And it's interesting. I had an interesting thought that we describe a Kodesh Baruch Hu on the one hand, Hakel in the beginning of Shemona Esrei, Hakel HaGodol, who's great, and that denotes Chesed. That denotes a Kodesh Baruch Hu is like giving. He gushes forth, right? His greatness spews forth, and then we describe Hashem as Gibor, as mighty. Now, if you look in the various examples where we use the term HaKadosh Baruch Hu as being Gibor, it refers to specifically that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can control his might. Okay, and it's more specifically that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is described as a Gibor when his strength is to go against what we would have assumed naturally is opposite. I'll give you a few examples. The most classic example we describe when we say in the second bracha of Shemona Esrei, say, Ato Gibor L'Olam Hashem, Mechaye Meisim Ato Rav Lo Yishia. Right? You are Kosh Baruch Hu, Gibor, and then we describe his Mechaye Meisim. Now, to instill life in something dead, that is totally against the, shall we say, the natural course of events. If something was alive and now it's lost its lifeblood, its source of life, how can you bring it back to life again? That requires Gevura, that requires HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Gibor. Or similarly, I'll give you a very simple example. Let's say there's a dam, right? And the dam breaks and the water gushes forth. Now to turn the water, to control the water, that it should stop gushing forth, that is an example of Gevura, right? It means because naturally the water will keep gushing and gushing and gushing, right? In order to stop it, right, it requires a tremendous amount of strength, which is going against the natural course of what would happen. That's where we describe as Gevura. Now, what is interesting is rain is described as Gevura, okay, and also the fact that HaKadosh Baruch Hu controls, limits his kindness. That's the Midas Hadin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, not everybody's going to get unlimited chesed. It's going to be controlled. That's number one. But also the whole concept of Midas Harachamim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mercy, is also dependent on this attribute of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Gibor, because according to the strict law, there shouldn't be necessarily mercy. I mean, the whole term rachamim means it's not going to the strict letter of the law, but it's we're going to waver the law a little bit in the person's favor. We're going to give him mercy. We're going to give him a second chance. So that in itself, the HaKadosh Baruch Hu, what, if you want to say, empowers HaKadosh Baruch Hu's ability to be merciful, is his ability to be is his gvura, is his might. Because even though naturally the natural course of things should be that somebody is deserving of punishment or even death, nevertheless, HaKadosh Baruch Hu can manipulate things against their natural course of things, course of events, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu can change things to go against the natural course of events and be merciful, rather than following the strict letter of the law, which would lead to chas v'shalom, a person's being punished or even put to death. Okay?
Well, it's interesting you say that every one of those 250,000 people had a decree. I had learned that it says keep far from evil, because if you're close to somebody who's evil, you could end up suffering because of that closeness.
Right.
Well,
Yeah, so now there it's because you've brought a person, especially if he brings himself close to that person, or even if he doesn't bring it, he ends up being close to that person. He may end up being, if he mushba, he may be being affected by that person, even if it doesn't necessarily make him to a Rosh like the other person, but there's a certain, he'll be weakened in his desire necessarily to serve Hashem, having been in the company of this person, this wicked person. In other words, if the person is totally unaffected by his proximity to a Rasha, then nothing will happen to him by the fact because he's in the proximity of a Rasha. But the mere fact that he is in the proximity of a Rasha, that will have, albeit an nth degree effect on him, and that in itself would bring him to suffer as a result of being in the proximity of the Rasha.
So say that maybe many of those 250,000 people were in the proximity of Roshayim, and they didn't have a decree.
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm just saying, as a rule, every bullet has its address. Okay. I'm not saying that we're not talking about bullets here, but anyway, any punishment that the person, the Kosh Baruch Hu meets out, that's what this pasuk is saying. What's the lashon there? It's not. There's nothing arbitrary over here. Everything is exact. Who's going to be killed? Who's not going to be killed? Okay. Yeah. Next to Rashi, Ein Ovel. Yeah.
Ein Avel, without iniquity. Af the Rashayim, also to the wicked. Mishalem Sachar Tzid Kasam. He pays reward for their righteousness in this world. Tzaddik Yashar Hu. Hakol Matz.
Oh, now Rashi is interesting. Now, how do you translate this word Tzaddik B'Yashar? So, the Chayr, on the face of it, you're saying HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a tzaddik and upright. In other words, he HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is righteous and upright. Okay, that's what it sounds like.
Right.
Okay. So Rashi's saying, no, that's not pshat. We'll see in a second. Rashi says, tzaddik.
Okay.
Hello?
Tzaddik Yashar Hu Matzdikim Alehem Es Dino, to accept upon themselves the righteousness of his judgment.
Right. Meaning everybody acknowledges that HaKadosh Baruch Hu's justice is correct.
What does that have to do with him being righteous and upright?
So we're going to see. That's the first thing. Rashi just explains step by step. This is a description of what he is, tzaddik. All accept his judgment as fair, and this is the right and proper thing for them to do.
Okay, v'chach ro'oi v'yashar lahem. And this is befitting and upright for them.
Meaning, v'yashalem, for them to do. Now you have to add in the words to do. Meaning, tzaddik Kosh Baruch Hu is acknowledged as being righteous, meaning that his judgment is correct, is fair. And Yoshahu, and this is V'chein Roi v'Yoshalhem, this is the correct, is the right and proper thing for them to do. That's how Rashi is explaining this passage. And Rashi goes on to what does it mean? Tzaddik, in other words, Rashi is now paraphrasing the pasuk. Tzaddik
Mipi ha-berios. Righteous comes from the mouths of the people. The Ashar, who, and upright, it is the Rashoi, the Uli, the Hatzediko. And it is befitting and not to acknowledge his righteousness.
Yeah. Meaning, so it's again, Rashi's paraphrasing the passage. Tzaddik mipi abrios. When you say tzaddik, Kosh Baruch Hu is proclaimed to be righteous by mipi abrios, by humanity, by its creatures. But Yoshahu, and this is the correct, this is the right and proper thing for them to do, to accept his Hatzdika means to accept his judgment. Okay. Why Rashi doesn't learn it in the regular kilu, on the simple level? So let me see if it. Yeah, I have a note over here. I'll read it out. Why does Rashi depart from the verse's simple meaning that God is upright? Mizrahi and Guari answered that we have already been told that he is a faithful God without injustice. And this includes that he is righteous and upright. Thus, the reference must be to the way we are to view God. Whereas it's not a description of God himself, but the way we are to, how should we say, to behave in our recognition of God, in our recognition of God's righteousness. Okay? Yeah. Okay, let's go on to the next pasuk. Pasuk Hey.
Okay, so it says, let's see, Shichet, I'm sorry, Shichet lo banav,
Lo, banav mumam.
right, dur ikesh ufital tol. Okay, so Shichet says it's corruption is not his. The blemish is on his children. A generation that's, I guess, crooked and twisted.
Right.
Tall. Okay. So Rashi says, Shichet lo v'gomer, that corruption isn't his. Targemo, Zanklu says, Chabilu lahon la lay. So corruption, is there.
Is not his.
Not his. Okay. Very good.
Yeah,
Okay.
is corruption to him, no. If you want to really translate it literally.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so it's not his. let's see, Banav Mumam. The blemish of his children. Okay, Banav Hayu, the Hishchata Shehishchito, He Mumam. Okay. So Banav Hayu, they were, his children. And the corruption that they were corrupted is a blemish, their blemish.
Right.
Okay.
Is the corruption which they corrupted is their blemish, not his. Banav mumam.
Mom, right there. Okay. And then it says Banav Mumam again. That's the blemish is his children, is theirs. It says Mumam shel Banav who
Haya.
Velo Mumo. And this is what you just said, yeah. So the blemishes of his children, but not his blemish. Okay, Dur Ikesh.
Yes. So what Rashi is saying is, by the way, this is actually a very interesting. Many times, sometimes, unfortunately, children don't come out the way the parents would have liked them to come out, right? They don't necessarily follow. And very often, parents have guilt feelings as a result of that. I'm not saying sometimes the guilt feelings may be correct, but it's person not necessarily should always have guilt feelings, because ultimately, as much as a parent may educate his child, okay, ultimately each person is responsible for himself. And whatever efforts the parents may have put into the education of the child, it's ultimately the child, well, if it's still a child, that's one thing, but when he becomes an adult and he doesn't follow the same way as his parents necessarily, okay, it's the person's own decision. Made the change. Okay, it could. I mean, sometimes it is indeed sometimes bad education, but very often it's for reasons beyond the parents and beyond the parents' control, and therefore it doesn't necessarily always. Often, I mean, it's understandable, but often parents, have guilt feelings. Unfortunately, a child doesn't come out as they expect. They have guilt feelings. What did we do wrong? It doesn't necessarily mean that they did something wrong. Ultimately, the person, the child, it was out doing his own decision, right, to take a different path from his parents' path. Okay. Okay.
So next one is Dor. No, I didn't do that. Dori Kesh. So it says it's a crooked generation.
Yeah.
Ikesh, let's see. Akum umiukal. Okay, so Ikesh means bent and crooked.
Right.
That's from the Sifri. Kemo, here's an example. Be et kol hayishara Keshu. Okay. So it's like those who bend all that
means everything that was straight, they bent.
They bent. Okay. Uvilashon Mishnah, and in the language of the Mishnah, Hulda, a weasel.
Yeah, or a rat.
Or a rat. Okay. Sheshini Neha Akumot Akushot.
Akushot.
The teeth are bent and crooked.
Right.
Wow.
Why it uses the double expression, I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting. Okay. Bent and crooked. Yeah. Okay. Ufitaltel, twisted.
Tol.
Ufilt hatol.
And
Okay.
totless.
Well, I'm glad you can pronounce that because I can't. Okay.
Verdreht, geschlenkt. Kipsila ze shegoy b'moise makifin oise svives hagdil. It's like you twist it. Salto means twisted. Walk.
Okay. Means one that's twisted. What's svivot around a strand?
How do you when they spin a thread?
It's threads. Okay, twist threads. Okay. Svivot hagdil around a strand. Okay. Oh, bitaltol.
Rashi goes on to explain what the word means. Betal tol.
Okay. Mina tevot hakfulot.
Right.
Okay, so letters are
You have
double.
the two last root letters are repeated. Pesal tol. Right?
Okay.
It comes from the word pesil, right? But pesal tol is like a double. Kamoi, as Rashi says.
Iraq rake.
Iraq rock.
Iraq rock. Okay. Adam
dam.
Adam dam. Sechar sigel gel.
So go.
Okay.
What it actually means that all these times when you repeat the middle and last root letter, it denotes like an intensity.
Oh, okay.
So Sechar, give an example. Yorak is green. Yorak is deep green. Odom is red. Adam dam is deep red. Okay, Sachar means in the Aramaic is going around. Sechar means dizzy. It's an intense going round. And it's gal. I think it's used to describe a ball. Something is round, it can be like a cylinder shape. But gal means it's round, very round. Okay?
Let's see. So that should be
good.
Yep,
Right.
That's it.
Okay, so we'll stop here. And Bez Hashem, to continue tomorrow with Pasuk Vav.
Thank you, Rabbi. Shkach Meir.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Have a good day, Rabbi.